Why, hello everyone. I have myself another Tucson here. This one is different. First thing I can say is that this by far is the cheapest Tucson that I have purchased thus as far as the price that I actually got it from on the eBay auction, which was $24. That did have a significant amount of influence on the reason why I picked it up because, well, 25, 24, 25 bucks, that's kind of an impulse purchase. So, yeah, this guy is quite strange. This is a Vincent Oliver design. And, yep, I have taken a look at a couple of others, and most of his are pretty kind of interesting and out there. This is a gigantic hawkbill. Kerchunk. For one thing, I really do like the black wash kind of finish that they got going on there. It looks very, very attractive. This guy is in D2 steel. And it is incredibly wide up here at the top. Like, even wider than the TS-84 Orca from Mazwan Mokhtar. This thing is just enormous. This thing does have G10 handles with incredibly aggressive, at least out here in the back. They are very, very deep grooves kind of going in there. They do get a little bit more shallow up here towards the top, but yes, very, very, very grippy. Or at least sharp as far as the grooves go. This guy also does have a hole on the front that you can roll it open with. And because of that, it's a little more difficult to get in there on the backside. But, if you're determined, that's going to happen. The flipper tab is quite large, but stays out of the way of your hand when you got it on here. That being said, holding it this way, not exactly the most comfortable for me. What's interesting is I find this thing much more comfortable to hold kind of reverse style here. Which would probably help if you were doing something like a chest compression kind of cut. That would be something like you'd loop the knife blade around there, and you'd have your other hand. You get yourself all nice and close to your chest, and then pull your hands apart, sort of thing. And for that, it's very, very comfortable. And because of the hawkbill blade, doesn't let go of whatever you're cutting, like that twisted sisal rope that I had in my hand earlier there. The action on this thing, even though it's riding on ceramic bearings, is not super great. Let's see if you can, kind of hear that a little bit. And I do believe a little bit of that is basically due to the coating, both on the liners as well as on the blade itself. Kind of a negative here would be the clip, which you notice isn't on there. It's because it's one of these kind of original black stamped clips, and they're just awful. So I've just pulled it off altogether. Makes it a bit more comfortable to end up holding. We got a G10 backspacer that runs almost the whole way through. You cannot get to that blade inside there. So your fingers are safe. And likewise, you really can't get to the tip of that either. So it's quite well protected. Like I was saying, I do think that this flipper tab is probably a bit excessive. It could probably stand to have quite a bit of it removed. But that's okay. It still works out, and it's so large anyway, you're not really going to have a huge amount of advantage there. It does have a little tiny bit of jimping there, which will kind of, there we go, be right there at the liners when it's closed. And yeah, man, like I was saying, it just feels much more comfortable with this curve on the backside to hold on to it, and you have a little bit more here for doing those kind of cuts. But yeah, I do probably think this is much more designed for self-defense rather than kind of an EDC. Anything that's generally with a handle this tall probably isn't EDC isn't exactly their first thought when it comes to all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, this is technically the 163-gray, which I think they probably mean that because of the blade or something like that, because this is definitely brown/tan for the G10. But that's what the model number said, so alright. How about if I go ahead and do some measurements on here, and then we'll take a look on the inside like I usually do. Alright, yeah, so we're starting off with inches. Make sure I'm zeroed out. And yeah, a little over 6.5 inches. Or 0.65 inches. Sorry, 6.5 inches would be pretty hilarious. But yeah, so very thick. And very weighty as well, as you will end up seeing here pretty soon. I do kind of want to also measure the top here. Yeah, at the top it's over 1.5 inches tall. So yes, very, very different from an EDC kind of knife going on there. But this hawkbill blade, from here I will do from there. And hopefully not miss the blade as I come down. And yeah, basically just shy of 3.7 inches. So quite large. Let's go ahead and shrink this guy back down and swap over to millimeters, because I really hate dealing with thousandths. But yeah, this is basically a 4mm blade. I would most likely probably categorize that as 3.9, which is there. And then, yeah, as I pull it off, it would get a little bit higher. So 3.9, that's where I'm going with that. All right. Let's go ahead and move that out of the way, and let's take a look on the weight on this very, very large folder. I'll toss that on there, and that'll clip. Alright, yeah, so 6.58 ounces. 186.5 grams. Give or take a couple of points for the screws there. But, yeah. This is very much a purpose-built knife for something. And I do believe that is probably self-defense with the hawkbill kind of nature, the length of it in general. And if you do actually have your thumb all up on the curve there and everything, you do have a lot of downward force coming at you with that tip, or the first third of it or so. Very, very interesting knife. It's certainly not something that I would choose on most days to slap into my pocket. But like I was saying, it was a fairly interesting design, and man, I really couldn't beat that price. So yeah, how about if we go ahead and pop this guy open? There's not a whole lot of super interesting things going on the inside, but that's okay. There's not a lot of super interesting things going on the inside of me either. Yet I still like me. Yeah. You can see this stuff here is some of the liner coating, essentially, that's coming off there. This guy's usually pretty difficult to get open without poking some posts here. Especially that one. That one's all sorts of not wanting to let go. Lego. No, huh? I really want to see inside you. Sorry, that sounded a little creepy even to me. But yeah, then we'll just go ahead and do it that way. So yeah. solid liners. Nothing much going on in the way of skeletonization. That certainly adds up to that 6.5 ounce sort of thing kind of going on there. We do have a D-shaped pivot, which is actually a little bit interesting for the kind of model sort of thing going on there. But yeah, we do have their ceramic bearings, which yeah, over time, and it will be a long time, a lot of this coating will work its way off of both the liners and the blade and probably improve action. But yeah, that is going to definitely take a while, because I've had this thing for quite some time, played around with it quite a bit, and it hasn't really improved much. That's obviously not to say that it won't, but yeah, it is going to take a bit. It's not something that you're going to break in an afternoon. You're going to break in over the course of a year or two, probably. Let's try and actually make sure that I have that threaded correctly. That would help quite a bit. I have put some thread locker in there. That's why it does take just a little bit of effort to close it back up. Otherwise, it's you know, fully able to screw in and out super easy, just like any other two-son knife should. But yeah, with the extra drag from the liners on there, you probably do want to put some thread locker on this particular guy, just because it does add a lot of extra friction kind of going on there. But yeah, very interesting sort of thing. And quite purpose built, as I said. But yeah, I can't really think of a whole lot else to say about this guy in particular, except for, my lord, is it huge and heavy. But all right, yep, that's everything I got to say about it. So I'll leave it at that. As always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo. Subscribe.